Welcome to Checking In with Tracy and Ahil. 4 years ago, Ahil and I ditched our corporate careers in accounting and finance to go all in on short-term rentals. Since then, we've hosted over 10,000 reservations and we now manage over 60 Airbnbs across Canada. That's mostly in Ontario and all the way to the East Coast. On this channel, we share all the behind the scenes of hosting, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're into Airbnb tips, real life hosting stories, and how to grow your own short-term rental business, you're on the right channel. Let's get into it. Good morning.
Hello.
We're on our way to Toronto. So we're taking you guys along today to show you what we're doing. Specifically today, we had a client that reached out to us 2 months ago. Was it?
I think our initial conversation was almost 9 months ago. Like in
No.
in March.
Oh my God.
In
Yeah, I
March
forgot.
last year.
This guy, he reached out to us. He has a home in Toronto and he wanted to do Airbnb. I forget what he was thinking about, but leads are leads, they come and they go or they ghost you and that's fine. So we did a kickoff call like 9 months ago with him. Then about 2 months ago, so 7 months in between our first conversation, he reached out to us again. He's like, hey guys, I'm ready to do it. What do I need to do? I'm ready to sign.
And our first reaction was, sorry, who are you?
Totally forgot about him. Like he just basically went radio silent on us for a really long time, but it was great. When he reached out again 2 months ago, we immediately went out to meet him, do a site visit of the property. And we gave him our typical onboarding, of what you need to add, what you need to do to the property to get it ready. And he did that, and now he's finally done. So we're ready to really get this launched. And what that means is get photos and get the listing up so we can start accepting bookings. And so today we're doing that final touch up. We don't always do this, by the way, but this property is in a core area that we really like. So we're just on our way there today. We'll take you guys through what this looks like, what we're really looking out for. It's a small unit, so it shouldn't take too long.
That's what we always think, though.
Yeah, we do. Sometimes it can take 3 hours with the two of us still, and so we're meeting the owner there as well. So sometimes when the owner's there, we just end up talking a lot, and that takes up some time, but it's okay. It's all part of that client management and everything. So yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. So what else has been happening in our business? We have most of our properties are in urban areas, not huge metropolitan. We have metropolitan areas, but just mostly urban areas. So if you're familiar with Ontario, Canada, it's areas like Burlington, Hamilton, Kitchener-Waterloo, Oakville, Whitby, so stuff like that. So it's not anything like a cottage country or a remote area.
Maybe we want to tell people why we like urban areas more than cottages.
Yeah, exactly.
Unpopular opinion.
Let me finish this topic first. So I want to talk about Erin, basically. We do have one property that is a cottage and it is in a remote area. We met this owner just a year ago, actually, and they have this cottage. They use it a lot for their own family purposes, and then when they're not, they like to put it up on Airbnb for short-term rentals. Originally, the agreement was that we would kind of do all of the remote stuff. What that meant really was the listing management, guest vetting, guest communication, and all of that. And then they would take care of the cleaner and any on-site maintenance. So when we kind of started, they were like, okay, actually, you know what? Can you guys help us manage the cleaner? And we're like, no problem. The cleaner, and this is exactly, and we'll dive into it about why we don't like cottage areas. But one of our biggest pain points with cottage areas are cleaners, is that they hold all the power, and second to that is we honestly find them a bit unprofessional. I hate to say, but that's just really been our experience, and specifically with this cleaner. So this cleaner, she just did not like us right off the bat. She already told us when we had our call, and she told the owner when the owner told her that, hey, we're getting a management company to help us out. She already said, oh, I don't usually work with management companies. I only work directly with the owners. So right off the bat, she already had a preconception. Talked to her, was well aware of her dislike for us just because we're a management company. And I tried to kill her with kindness, just let her know, hey, I'm not trying to change any of your processes. I just want to understand how we can work together. You tell me how you work, and then we kind of go from there. But I do have some basic requirements. And long story short, it went really bad. She was just very cutthroat, is exactly it. You know, I was like, just things like, so for example, one of our biggest requirements is that we require a lot of post-cleaning photos. So many reasons why a cleaner should provide post-cleaning photos for both sides of it, right? It's to prove your work. It helps me prove it to the guests if there's ever any cleaning issues. It documents it. If there's ever extra cleaning, you should be documenting that too with photos. So, you know, you have to prove your work. But she didn't like that. She's like, nope, I don't have time for that. I need to like clean other cottages, and taking pictures just takes too long. So I was like, that's fine. You know, usually I need like 30 to 50 photos easily. I was like, you know what? I can make do with just 10 photos, you know, just 10 photos, snap, 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 and just send it to me. I don't need it like right when you're done cleaning, but just send it to me maybe at the end of the day or the following morning. No, just not possible. There are a lot of other minute details after that, but she was, yeah. Anyways, we still kind of continued to try to work with her, and she just would take every opportunity to be really sassy and rude to us. Like, what happened with
Even
the
her
log?
communication, like it was terrible. Like she would take a full business day to respond to like text messages when, you know, most of our cleaners, they respond within 5 minutes, even though that's not the expectation. But at the same time, like, you know, a full business day is unacceptable. With the lock, yeah, I think like this one time the
owner.
the lock at the property just stopped working. Luckily, it happened while the owners were staying at the cottage, so they replaced the lock, and they told us it was our mistake. We forgot to tell her that,
Yeah.
hey, like the lock has been changed, and you know, like here's the new code that you can use to get into the cottage. It was our mistake, but she just absolutely flipped shit when she arrived at the property. She's like, oh, you guys should be telling me, blah blah blah.
This is really important. You need to be telling me, how would I get in? Like, just straight up attacking us. And all I was saying was like, I'm so sorry. Like, this was a total oversight, my mistake, everything, you know, taking ownership, and just kept attacking, you know, so.
Yeah, like it happened, like I can't remember exactly the order of events, but like I think it was before this incident that she actually forgot to clean the property.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were so nice with her.
Yeah.
And then she's refusing to like tolerate any mistakes on our end, and it was.
And albeit, it's not that she was locked out of the property and she was waiting around. She was locked out. She messaged us within a minute, and we responded within a minute and let her in immediately. Like, we can unlock the door for her. So just, you know, and on top of just like apologizing endlessly, because we do feel bad, but then when someone's attacking you like that, you just like gloves off. So when a cleaner goes to, they're supposed to report any issues to you, right? Anytime there's issues, she would go back to the owner, which personally we don't mind. Like, there's no like issue with like about going above us. It's just more than the owner comes to us as like, hey, like, can you kind of get her to stop talking to me, because like I hired you. You guys are supposed to take care of it. I don't want to be messaging. Rightfully so. So that's more of the issue, you know. It's just the client doesn't want that, but she keeps doing it. So, long story short, I think we probably worked with her for 3 months or something.
Yeah, about that.
And then we had to give it back to the owner. We're like, it's just not working, you know, and we'll cut down on our fees. You take care of her. So he did that for the majority of the time up until earlier last month in December. He's like, hey guys, I really want to be more passive on this property. Can you guys please take care of it? Oh, and on top of that, I'm not happy with the cleaner. Like, she's not cleaning very well. She's probably in the property for like 45 minutes. She charges a market amount, I will say, but her cleaning quality is subpar, and she's only spending 45 minutes. As in, this cottage, I'd expect at least minimum 2 hours on it, because there's no laundry. So it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath cottage. So definitely doable in 2 hours for a cleaner that's familiar with the property. Someone that's not familiar, maybe 3 to 3.5. But anyways, 45 minutes, not acceptable. So she charges $150 Canadian. And yeah, it's just not cool. So with the help of the owners, we found another cleaner. So like polar opposite, such a friendly person, totally understanding, responsive as well. And so yeah, we're working with him now. He's going to be cleaning for the first time today. actually, and fingers crossed. I was a little scared last night, so when we onboard a new cleaner, especially kind of in the where they don't have Airbnb experience, it's like walking on thin ice sometimes because there's so much to educate the cleaners about, like what it means to do an Airbnb cleaning.
Especially in these like remote areas
Oh my God,
where
yeah.
we know we have no other option. We're always like treading this fine line how much we can push the cleaner to meet all our requirements versus, like whether or not they'll agree to do it. And then now like if they do not agree to do it, we're gonna have to find someone else, which is close to impossible in these areas. There's like 4 or 5 cleaners, 2 or 3 of which you already would not like working with, and then out of the remaining 1 or 2 people that want to work with you, like you don't want to piss them off, right? For lack of a better word. So yeah, we'll see how it goes today. But so far he seems very cordial. He works for like other landlords in the area where they have rental properties, and he's used to being supervised remotely. He's okay with sending pictures. Another big issue with cleaners in these areas is they hate being supervised. They just want you to trust. They just want you to trust them that they'll do their work every single time without providing any proof. And I agree, like a lot of relationships, they operate on trust, but we need to build trust over time. You cannot expect me to trust you from the first clean that we work together, right? But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, the other thing with like cleaners is they hate reading. So I provide a very detailed guide. It's quite long, like it can be depending on the size of the property, the amenities on the property. It's gonna range anywhere from 4 to 10 pages. So for example, the one I did send the cleaner, the new cleaner is 7 pages long. So it's a lot to ask, but albeit it's not all pages are filled with text. It's not blocks of text. But it contains so much important information that we always think that, hey, if I was a new employee or whatever it is, and a client provided me basically with a Bible of how to do things, I'm going to take my time to read it. But so many cleaners don't. And then what ends up happening, they go and they're asking us questions about the property. And I mean, that's kind of second best case that they do. Some of them just make assumptions, and it's just like, well, you didn't need to assume if you just would have read it. So for example, here's the document I sent him. So it has I describe the layout of the home so that they make sure they don't miss anything, how to use the door, what their code is, internet information, tell them you can connect to it, you don't have to use your data or have connectivity issues.
Especially at this property, actually reception is actually pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, he's from there, so hopefully not.
That is a very important thing that we like to share with cleaners in these remote areas.
What else? I talk about where the supplies closet is. I include a photo of it as well. So, again, like it's not here. I'll just scroll through it. It's not blocks and blocks of text. It does become more, but you'll see it's kind of a mixed range, but it's really helpful for people that have never done an Airbnb cleaning. And then it tells them and also even if you do have Airbnb cleaning, every client has a bit of different expectations around what you need to do. So, we have so after supplies closet, I talk about what the routine looks like. So that looks like 1, report any damages to us. And I explain how to report damages. So take far away photos, close up photos, do videos if it's not clear. And I explain why we need it, because otherwise people think we're just putting more work on them for no reason when there's a big reason why we need that. We tell them to run laundry, do it on a quick cycle, because we've had cleaners which run heavy loads and they actually do the heavy load cycle, which is a 2-hour washing cycle alone, and that won't cut it, right, for an Airbnb. Then how to do the hot tub, how to clean the home, things to look out for, because you're not just cleaning the home. For example, it's you need to make sure the TV remotes are still there, because sometimes we've had it happen. Guests just take the TV remote with them, they move it to a different room. It's really bizarre. And then the next guest that comes in, they're like, hey, where's the TV remote? So, making sure you take care of that. The dishwasher needs to be empty. You're checking all the appliances. So for example, check that the kettle's empty. There's no mold or anything on sitting water on the bottom. You're restocking consumables, so putting out extra toilet paper, paper towels. We tell them exactly how many to put out and where to put it out. And all of this. And then most importantly on here, second most importantly, is that we talk to them about what photos we need, because it's not just I need 10 photos. You know, the 10 photo requirement was for a very hard cleaner that at a time we had no other options for. But normally our standard, I said, is like 30 to 50 photos of a property. The bigger the property, the more photos we'll need, but that's on average. And so we literally detail exactly what we need. So, you know, under the kitchen sink, show me the garbage bin, inside of the fridges, do a close-up of the toilets. You know, I don't just want a far away photo. I need like a far away photo plus the inside so that we can too see that the home's been restaged. But yeah, so fingers crossed that everything will be good. I sent that to him last night, and I was really scared because sometimes cleaners take it the wrong way and they're like, holy shit, this is way more than I signed up for. And yeah, I'm not gonna be able to clean for you tomorrow. I would be in a big like pickle.
That happened to us once in Toronto, but luckily it was like a major city, so it's easy to find like new cleaners.
Who was it again that said that?
There was that guy on Turno that we found. He initially quoted us like $90, and then after seeing our list of requirements, and you know, we're very honest with the cleaners when we first like talk to them, right, and determine prices. But this guy, I think, like for some reason, he didn't truly understand the scope of the work. And then as soon as he saw the list, he's like, "Oh, this is way more than what I had imagined." And then he's like, "Yeah, sorry, but you're gonna have to find someone else, as I cannot like." You know, do this clean at the prices that you guys are giving me. Luckily, like he still gave us a 24-hour notice. He told us, you know,
Right
as
when
soon
he
as
saw
he.
it.
So I respect him for that, right? Like the worst are people, like who see something and they're not comfortable with it, but you know, like
And they don't know how to say no.
yeah, and they would just like not say anything and just ghost us. Doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, you know, like on a same day check-in, you can imagine how stressful that situation will be.
But luckily this cleaner, he sent so when I sent the document last night, he'll give you a good idea. So I sent him the full document. I was already contemplating. I was like, shit, this is so long. I don't know if I should actually send it to him. It might scare him away. And then Ahil decided that like we should send it, but then in the message, so we sent, everything's communicated through WhatsApp. Send that whole 7-page document. Then just say, hey, I've attached this, it's quite long, but here's a summary of the highlights of it. So I did that, and I specifically said like, hey, you don't need to read it in detail, but it has a lot of good information if you have time. And so he responded with a really nice message. He's like, thanks, Tracy. All has been reviewed, and I will update with photos after the cleaning tonight. Smiley face emoji. Yay!
Yeah, we'll see.
One of the things I don't miss about condos are the elevators. I really like my single detached homes. And then visitor parking, garages. Okay. Finally, we're heading up. The parking pass took a lot longer.
And these elevators, so annoying. Only 2 of them are working today because someone's moving in.
Classic. Yeah, so we'll show you the unit right now. So we're just going on to the level. The home's already been set up. It's not the most luxurious. I wish it was designed a bit more so it can stand out.
And the condo is doing renos in the common areas.
But there's a market for everything. By no means is it ugly, but it's just these days we do ask our clients to design it a bit more if they're able to. And just depending on the client's budget, they may or may not be able to do that. We did all the documentation videos, but we'll probably do more of the supplies closet and everything and all the details that were added since we've been here, including if there's a cleaning that needs to be done by the cleaners. Yeah, here's the condo. It's super small. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. It's on the 23rd floor, so decent views. Actually, very good views. Just we're a little spoiled with views. Let's just take a look. Here it is, a nice little balcony. For anyone that's familiar with Toronto, that's the Well right there. It's a big shopping center, food court, lifestyle area. And that's the GO train tracks. So small living room, this place will sleep two. It's not a sofa bed. There's the one bedroom. And this is the bathroom. And there's also laundry here in the bathroom. So things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through every single part of this supplies closet on a video, send it to our assistants so that they can upload it and that they're familiar with the unit as well. Check out all the cabinets so we know exactly where everything is when guests ask us. Do some tests on the appliances. We're just about wrapping up. So kind of the summary of the place is basically ready. We just rearranged some things like the dining table and the desk inside the bedroom. But the owner just left. He didn't stock the kitchen well enough, so he's off to IKEA to grab that. I sent him a list. So for example, this home's gonna sleep two, and an Airbnb is a big reason why people book it over in a hotel, and it's because of the kitchen. So for example, right now he has two bowls. Like these are little bowls, and then here's a big serving bowl, but he needs more like medium-sized bowls, and we usually do the amount of people you can sleep here times two of each item because people don't want to be doing dishes all the time after one meal. 2 dinner plates, 2 small plates, a small 1 pot, 1 frying pan, not enough. We need like a full set. This is all complete. This is his only drinkware. There's only 3 non-stemmed wine glasses and 2 glass mugs, but we should get some ceramic mugs, some tall drinking glasses, and I prefer stemmed wine glasses. So getting him to do that. They were just really cheap at Amazon anyways. I mean at IKEA. This is also something severely understocked. We can't keep it this way. Like there's just no silverware. So we need a full set. I told him to grab 2 4-piece sets just because when they get lost, we can like not worry. And that was the majority of the items. Oh, there was no extra sheet sets like bedding, duvet covers, pillowcase protectors. So he's off to grab some of those as well. But other than that, we just kind of staged the pillows, tightened up the sides of the bed. To each their own, our preference is that we tuck the blanket under the mattress so it's kind of neat and tight all around. And then he's gonna grab some towels, lay them out, and the room's ready. The desk was originally here. I didn't like that, so I just put it next to the bed like that. It's more spacious. You can walk around the bed better that way. But yeah, that's it. We are done the tour and we're gonna head out now. I think we're gonna grab some lunch and excited. We'll hopefully list this by day after. The photographer is gonna come tomorrow. That's it. That's really what we do for the tour. Nothing much. Hi everyone, I'm at our newest unit today and I was busy putting up all the signs that we usually put in all of our Airbnbs to help guests understand the rules and know how to use anything. You tell me if you think I go overboard or not. Let me show you. Rule number 1 in our homes is that we are a no smoking unit whatsoever, and specifically for any units where we have a large balcony like this, we want to specifically indicate that smoking is not allowed on the balcony either, and then tell them where they are allowed to smoke. Next up, along with the balcony doors and why these two are together, is because we want to inform guests how to enjoy the balcony so they can enjoy it, get some fresh air, but if they're not in the home, that they should always keep the doors closed and they should never leave any clothes or personal belongings on the balcony because it will get blown away. If your Airbnb is owner occupied, it's very normal that the owner is going to want to store their own belongings in the home. In this specific unit, our owners actually use the home quite often throughout the year, so they have an entire bedroom that's dedicated to their belongings. So we specifically have signs that tell guests not to open it. Even though our owners are very diligent and they lock it up, it's really important to have signs so that guests don't forcefully open the door and may actually break it sometimes. So we just have these clear signs to indicate as such. One of the main reasons that travelers book an Airbnb over a hotel is because that they want to have the ability to cook instead of eating out every single day. So in our kitchens, because they will be well loved so much, we want to make sure that guests are turning on the exhaust fan while cooking to help reduce any odors in the home. We always put this sign right above the stove so that it's rightfully indicated when they our booking. In your bathrooms, we have 2 signs. First up is that we want to indicate to guests to always turn on the exhaust fan, and I usually put the sign right above the switch that actually turns that on and off. The second sign in the bathroom goes over the toilet, and it reminds guests that they should only be flushing toilet paper down the toilet. Everything else should go in the waste bin. You want to avoid any costly plumbing repairs. If you give guests access to use your laundry, we always include a sign on our dryer that reminds guests to clear the lint trap every single time that they use it and to check it just before in case the person before them did not. This is a really easy way to avoid any fires. If you provide laundry pods for your guests, we always put it in a labeled container so guests know exactly where it is, it's self-contained, and there's a couple of instructions right on there for them on how to use it. Near your trash bins, you should always include any waste management guidance for when their bins get full and where they should be putting that garbage. So in this unit itself, they should be putting it down the garbage chute that's right across the elevators. To make our cleaners' lives easier, we like to have clearly labeled bins so that they know that they need to be refilling these containers every single time. Specifically here is that we have dishwashing pods and garbage bags. If you provide any compost and recycling, you should have those as well. This one right here is probably my favorite. It's just an easy welcome sign that includes the address of the property, the Wi-Fi information, bonus tips if you actually have a QR code, and any contact information. We also relist out our house rules and any checkout instructions, and specifically the checkout time of your unit. This serves as a physical reminder to the person who's booked and the other people that have booked with that guest. At the entrance for any units where we are providing a physical key for our guests is that we actually include a reminder right at the door so that they always remember at checkout time to leave the keys behind. Right next to it and usually next to the door itself, we're also going to have a hook and a little sign that reminds them to leave the keys right here. So it's very easy for when they check out and they don't have to go back into the unit. Our units, we encourage guests not to wear their outdoor shoes throughout the unit. They can leave it in the entryway, and we just have a sign in the entryway to remind them about that. And again, going back to my very first sign and our favorite sign is the no smoking or vaping on the property, and most importantly, including on the balcony if you have that in your Airbnb. The outlet stripping in an Airbnb is actually a quite common event, such that it's easy enough that we actually label our breaker panels so guests can actually reset any breakers that they need to.